Alright, hang on, y'all. I gotta figure out how to change the orientation. I had it done before. I don't know what happened. Hang on. I don't know if it's gonna let me do that. Okay, well, so that's gonna kind of change things. Let me see if I can change my lighting just a little bit to help. Okay, let's see. Let's see if that helps a little bit. Well, some, not a whole lot. All right, so hopefully we'll be able to just use this part of it and roll with what we've got. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope y'all are having a great evening. Today we're going to do a little craft along, and we are going to make a booklet. And let me show you what mine looks like that I made. And these each end ties into a ribbon, into a bow, so that, it closes for you. And each side opens, but it's both a junk journal and a accordion file. Okay, so if you open it up on this side, and this is your booklet. Okay, so I've decorated the front of this one, and I made this actually for a friend. And I'm going to be sending this one out here very shortly. And so each little page has something different on it. And we went on a cruise together earlier this year. And so I made this little booklet to commemorate that for her. Like, this is a little thing that I got. Sorry about that. Anyway, there we are. Besties. And I decorated it. It's got little paper clips and little things, little pockets and extras in the pockets. And I made it so that she can save, little things in it, that she wants to. Like this, this whole thing comes off. And there's just little things that I've tucked away inside some of these. And, she can decorate these the way she sees fit. So, there we go. All right. And so there's that. And so you've got, and you can, I usually do like 6 pages. This one I did a little thicker because, I had a lot more stuff to put in it for her. So I made that one. All right, so that's that side. And then here's the beauty of this little project here. So let's tie that side up. And then check this out. This is the great little thing about this project, okay? This side, you have an accordion pocket. And so any of the little extras, extra pictures and stuff that I had, I tucked down in these little pockets. And then she can also, store things in the pockets. She can, documents, whatever she wants to do, right? But it's like a whole little accordion file of its own. You see that? And there, each page makes, I think 2 pockets, I believe. No, maybe it's 1 pocket per page. But everything just kind of melds together. And then when you tie up this side, as you can see, it all just is self-contained. See? And these are little paper clip tabs that I made. So she can, mark certain pages if she wants to. The way she sees fit. So that's what we're going to do today. Okay? And this is such an easy project. You're just going to be amazed at how simple this is. All right? Okay. So, the only thing you really need is your scoreboard and some 12 by 12 paper. It does not have to be double-sided, but you will want to think about your orientation. So, like, see, I had folded this one, and this is just literally how simple it is. Fold it in, fold it over, and that is literally your page, okay? But I did this one sideways accidentally, so we're not going to use this one, okay? Did you see what I did there? Sorry, I'm still standing up at the moment so I can see the screen for a second. All right. And so it needs to go this way and not this way. So I goofed on that. I should have done it sideways so that it folded properly. Okay. So I'm going to put this one off to the side because we're not going to use it. And I'm going to grab my cutter and my scoreboard because we're going to do scores, and we're going to need one strip that is 2 inches. I'm sorry, an inch and a half by 12 inches. Okay, and we're going to do pages. So we'll have 6 individual pages that we'll come back and decorate. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and sit down. So I will not be able to see the chat. If you leave me any chats, I'll have to later. If you have any questions at all, just be sure. Let's see, is it making me go this way? Nope. There it goes. Okay, it was acting all wonky. Sorry, I keep having to change it up. All right, let's see. Okay, I'm going to sit down and we're going to go into how we put this thing together. Okay? Now, so I've got a couple of pages that are just 8.5 by 11. So I'm going to use these to make some of my little pockets and things. Okay? For these guys, let's see. We are going to decide what papers we're going to use. So I think I'll use this one because I like it. Let's see, we've got 2 of those. And put these off to the side here. That one's pretty. We'll do that. I got enough to make a couple of these actually. Now we can decide whether we want to use green or red. We'll use that one inside as our marrying point. Okay, and I'll explain what that means here in a minute. Let's use this one, and we'll put them in an order. Let's see, maybe we could use this or this and use this together because it kind of goes better with those colors. All right, let's see, maybe this one. And maybe that one. I'll put that one up here between these two. We'll go back and look at these here in a second and kind of see how we want to put it together. There's more red and green and light green. And this one's cute. I think we'll use him. Let's see. So these are going to be our front and back cover. Okay. So let's see. So one of these will be a page. One of these will be a page. And then we want 6 pages inside. Okay. So let's see. I really like the little gnomes. I want to use them. And I like this guy next. And maybe that guy. Okay. And then this one perhaps. What's the next? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's pick one more. Do we want to just do that? Yeah, it's kind of meld into each other, don't they? All right, these are going to be our 6 pages. All right. Now, we have to remember that we are, on a couple of these, going to have to pay attention to the orientation. Okay. Get these just out of the way for us at the moment. I'll come back to them shortly. Okay. All right, let me check the chat just to see if anybody's in already. Let's see. Hey, how are you? How's everybody doing? All right. Hey. Okay, let's see. So what you want to do, and on some of these, you know, you can take off the tags if it's on this handmade paper, but you don't have to, okay? Because it's all going to be hidden, really. All right. So let me show you just how easy it is to put this together, okay? We want to take our stylus. Let me find my stylus here. Here, this one will work. All right. Well, that one might, yeah, that's not quite hard enough. Oh, where are you, bud? There you are. Okay. All right. So, just how simple this is, we are going to measure this. All right, so this is just a hair over the 12. All right, on that side. Oops, here we go. Both pieces. We'll do one at a time. And yep, 12 and an eighth, I guess. By 12 and an eighth. Okay. So I usually do mine at about 3 1/4. And just have to be careful with this handmade paper that you don't tear it. Okay. And just have to gently work this one. Okay. This handmade paper is kind of wonky sometimes. Okay, so 3 1/4 this way. And then just flip it around. It's easier to just do the 3 1/4 on both sides. Okay. And then we're going to turn it, well, actually, we'll just do this. We'll fold it over in half and line everything up. And just give it a nice little crease down the middle. Okay? And then we're going to take this and we're going to turn these in. And we're going to turn this one in. Okay? And what I did here was I tried to make it big enough to where it would fit Christmas cards. Because most Christmas cards are about, you know, within this range. normally. And so, you know, even if you don't keep the envelopes, you can, you know, stick your cards in there and they should fit. Okay. All right. And then once we do this, we'll fold it. And this is our page. Okay. So with this being our page, you know, or our cover really, it's going to flip like this. But then when we marry everything together, these pieces, let me line this up a little better here. So we crease it. Kind of crease it good there. And then once we line up all our little pockets, you know, this is what will be our pocket. And see, each one does make 2 pockets. See that? So there's your pockets. Okay? I'm going to show you how we do this. I'm going to go ahead and do all of these real quick so that we have what we need. Okay? And, you know, I'll try to talk while I'm doing this, but sometimes I kind of get off track, and I'm just trying to kind of go through this with you real fast. 3 1/4. Okay. And then we'll just fold. I mean, this is, you know, this is like the simplest thing to make. It really is. And, you know, just, it looks really cute. And you get, you know, a lot of bang for your buck on this one because you can, you know, use it as kind of secret storage, if you will, you know. Okay. And there's our front and back covers. All right. So front and back cover. Now we're going to make our pages that go inside. Okay. Now, when you have a directional paper like this, you need to make sure that when you do this, you do it in a manner that is sideways. Okay. Now, we'll end up cutting just a hair off. Well, no, actually we won't, because we want the front and back cover to be just ever so slightly longer than the inside pages. Okay. So we're going to keep going. And let's see, 3 1/4. Okay. And 3 1/4. All right, flip it, fold it. And we'll go back and crease all our edges and stuff so that, you know, everything lines up nice and even. Okay. All right, fold this. Okay. All right, so see how that makes that line up as the right orientation? Okay. All right, so there's going to be front cover, and then that'll be page 1. Okay. All right, so we're just going to build this and go along. Okay. Let's see. And again, just go through 3 1/4, flip it around, and then we'll go back and we'll glue these so that everything lines up. Okay. And we'll crease all our corners and, you know, all that good stuff. Okay. Now, some of these papers are a little heavier than others. That is okay, because once you put everything together, it's going to kind of sturdy itself out. And what I mean by that is that, you know, when you get to the end result, it's all going to be married together, so it'll make it really strong. Okay. Okay. All right, there's page 2. Now on this one, I want the page direction to go this way. Let's see, maybe I want it to go this way. Yeah, I think I want one to go this way, and then I'm going to let this one go this way. So they go opposite of each other. Yep, I think that's what I want. Okay, so I want to turn this one this way. All right. 3 1/4. 3 1/4. Okay, fold it up. And, you know, I think the hardest part is just lining everything up and getting it all nice and even. But believe me when I tell you, it's worth the extra effort, okay, to line it all up and make it look nice from the front, you know, or from the beginning. And just, you know, we'll go back and crease everything, but I'll show you what we got here in just a second, okay? Now, let's see, we made that one go that way, so we want this one to go sideways, yes? Yes, okay. So in order to make it go sideways, we actually have to start at this orientation. Here, let's flip it over. It'll be easier to see. All right, 3 1/4. And you could do the math to do it the other way. I just, you know, I just find it easier to do it this way. Okay. We're going to fold. Fold. And then just, you know, try to make sure you line everything up. And like I say, we're going to go back and we're going to glue all this stuff. And it's just easier if you go ahead and do all your folding at the beginning. And make everything really nice and neat and tight. Okay. There we go. Couple more. And then we'll be done with this part. And then this one's not going to matter. It doesn't really have a directional pattern. It does, but it's, you know, it's going to be the same regardless of which way we do it. So it doesn't really matter. Okay. All right. Okay, and see that little bit of overlap right there is where we're going to glue, and that's what's going to hold all our pages firmly together, okay, so that we can make our little accordion pockets. Okay, we want to line everything up nice and neat. Okay. All right. Last but not least, I do not think this is going to make a difference regardless of which way we go with it. So we're just going to do it like this. Okay. All right. Okay. Last one. Line it all up. Okay. Well, try to fix that part there. Okay. We can get rid of this for now. Oh, we do need one strip. Let's see. Let me find. Let's see. I was going to use. Nope. Hang on. Here it is. I had to dig through the pile till I found the right one. Alright, let's see. We're going to need one strip that is, well, at least one. We want it to be 1.5 inches. Here, we can just fold this over here. Because we only need like 1.5 inches. Alright. And then we want to flip this over and just ever so lightly, I'm going to run right down the center of this at about 3/4 inch. Okay. Now, what this is going to do is make our, oh, we're off just a hair. Okay. It's all right, though. We can fix this. I'll go ahead and crease it down nicely. And then here, we'll do this and run it down the edge. Okay. Let's see if we can do that. All right, that's good enough. Close enough. And then we can go back and we can do these at about, I usually try to do mine at like 1. Now, because this is 12 inches, we can go ahead and do them at 2 inches. Okay. We'll just go ahead and do all of these. And then I'll show you how we're going to marry our pockets together here in a minute, okay? All right. Let's just go ahead and cut all these into 2-inch long pieces, okay? Okay. All right, and that's going to help marry our pockets together. I might have to cut another strip so that we have 2 for the very ends, but we'll get to that bridge when we get to it, okay? All right, let's put everything together. Let's see. We'll go through with our, let me find my bone folder here. There she is. Okay, so I usually just go back and just very lightly, try to go over all the creases before I glue so that everything is nice and neat, okay? Okay. Let's see. There's number 1, number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5. Number 6. All right. Now, let's see. Let's do these real quick. Okay. All right. Now then, here comes the rest of it. Okay, so this is what we've got. Here's our front cover. First page. Second page. Third. Fourth. Fifth. And then sixth. And then back cover. Okay? That's how it's going to go together. All right? And that is literally how easy this is. Now, all we have to do is go back and we're going to take these and we're going to marry our pockets together. Okay? So I tend to leave the covers for last. And we need to go through and glue our our pages first and foremost. And then we'll marry them together. Okay? So let's go ahead and just really quickly. Okay. I typically try to use just a hair of wet glue to run down this puppy. Okay. And then before you dry it, make sure and fold it over and make sure everything is still even. Okay. And we're going to let that dry for a minute. Okay. And, it doesn't take much glue. Just run you a bead, like right down the front on the overlap. Okay. Because once we marry the pockets together, they're not going to come apart. So it'll be fine. Okay. There's two. I'm going from front to back, if you notice, on this stage. Okay. Okay. All right, there's that one. Okay. Couple more. We're almost done. See how easy this is? It's pretty ingenious little design too, isn't it? I wish I could tell you who came up with it first, but I cannot remember the lady's name that I saw that made it. I want to say her name was Elizabeth, but I'm not 100% sure, and I found it on Facebook, so I don't even know what group it was shared in, to be honest. I think I shared it in my group with a few of my members that had, asked me to share it, but I cannot recollect, which particular group it was. All right, so we got an up and a down. There we go. So that's that. Okay. So front page, second page, third page, fourth, fifth, sixth. Okay. All right, now here's where we marry them together. Okay. We'll save the front and the back for last. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Seems like I'm missing one now. There it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So what we're gonna do, actually we will need more, so because I forgot we're gonna marry these together and then we're gonna marry the edges together. Okay. So first thing we can do is go through and marry the fronts to the backs. Okay. Okay. And the easiest way I found to do this is to get your glue on there, take your piece and line it up and just kind of stretch it down on there. Okay. Now you can go longer on these if you want to. And we probably should have, since I made these, this one just, I think, a hair wider. I did. See how that's wider? Because I was trying to accommodate for Christmas cards. So I made this one a little bit wider than the last one. So if you want, you can go back and you can make these pieces bigger. Okay. All right. Let's see. Now, so we'll go through and we'll marry the fronts to the backs of each of the pages. Okay, so there's one. And you want to line them up here. Let's marry together as we go along. And the reason for that will be, let's see, actually, it needs to be this way. Okay. And because you want to kind of line up your end pieces so that they stay kind of consistent. See that? How I line that up so that the tops and bottoms meet at the same place. See? All right, so we want to do that with this one here. Okay. I do that to kind of mush the glue. Okay. And then we're gonna lay these two together like so. And put that on there and line them up and just, kind of move it to the edge as you need to. There we go. See? And just, kind of make sure you're lining your edges up together. All right. Okay. So there's page 1. Oh, I got some glue there. Okay, so we'll hide that here in a little bit. We'll fix it. So you gotta be careful about your glue right in here. And making sure that things don't stick together. But I will show you a little fix for that. So when we come back, we can hide that, okay? And that's why it's important to line everything up as you go along. See, that one was sort of, it didn't quite go all the way down. It's okay, though. It's going to be hidden for the most part. So just, be careful when you're lining things up and putting them together that you get everything where it's supposed to be. Okay. So here's that. We'll go back and make some more. Okay. Okay. All right. And then just make sure that you're kind of checking that you don't get your stuff caught here. Okay. And again, we can go back and we can kind of hide this. We can come back and, do a piece like this and cover each of these if we want to, so that you can't see any of the the goofs, okay? Now see how that one's kind of not lined up properly? It's off just a hair. Let's see if we can fix that real quick before it gets too dry. Alright, just ever so gently pull that back up. Let's just scoot it over just a hair so that it lines up. Okay. There we go. Now let's just put a tiny little bit of glue again on that. Make sure we fold it over properly. And if you catch it early enough, you can fix it. Okay, see, there you go. That's all lined up now. So just double check yourself each time. And make sure you're lining up all your little P's and Q's, okay? And then we'll open that. Make sure that's good. Okay. So this guy got a little too much glue on him when he was in his midst of being glued. There we go. And luckily we'll be able to hide that under our little pieces. Okay. So let's get this guy ready. Okay. Make sure he gets good. Okay. See? There's our accordion pocket coming together. Okay. And see how big these open up if you, if you just give it, ample room. And, the bigger the pockets, of course, the more you're going to be able to get in there and the more you're going to be able to see. Okay. All right. Only a couple more to go here. And then we'll have to cut some more little pieces. Okay. We're going to split this one around. Okay. Okie dokie. Line them up. I'll get where you can see here. Make sure everybody's lined up good. Fix this one real quick. Kind of came off center there. All right, let's fix this one. Just ever so lightly, take that back off. Hopefully, maybe. Needs to just move over just a hair. Okay, let's try that again. So when you're not sure, line up this side first. So you get that part right. There you go. And then add this guy. Get him lined up. And push it down. Okay. There we go. Perfect. This can be kind of forgiving if you use thick enough paper. Alright, let's go back. We're going to need to cut us another strip at about 1.5 inches. Okay. And flip it. And about 3/4-ish. That's pretty close on that one. Close enough anyway. We're not going to worry about it. Okay. Let's go back and cut 2-inch strips just to match what we're already doing. Okay. We only need a few more, but we might as well cut all of them since we're in the process here. Okay. Oh, I think I ended up with a little extra. 1 and 2. Okay. Might have been the opposite side that I cut from. Alright. Okay. Okay. We've got a couple more to add here. Let's close this guy up. So again, easy way to line everything up. Make sure you line it up on this side here. And then you can marry in this side here. Okay? See how I did that? And everything lines up. Okay? Alright, couple more here. Okay. A little bit too much on that one. Let me find the paper towel there. Okay. So line up this side. Yep. And then add this side. Okay, almost done. Got this one, and then we'll add the front and the backs, okay? Okay. All right, let's see where we're at here. All right, so we got to fix that one. We'll fix that. We'll cover it with some pockets that go this and this way. Okay, here's that. There's that one. And see, like I said, we can go back and we can cover these insides here, so that they match the outside. Okay. All right. Getting closer. Okay, let's see. Let's do this guy. Okay. And this one. And then we're going to still need a couple more to finish off, aren't we? Okay. So I'll have to remember it takes at least 2 for each one. And then you need an additional 2, I guess, for the fronts and backs. Okay. There's that. And let's go back and we'll make one more strip. Let's see. Let's make it this way. I don't think it matters at this point. 1.5. Okay. And run our little thing down the 3/4 inch. Oops. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it must have been on the long side. Okay. And like I said, might as well cut all of them. Or, we'll use them eventually. All right. So we are going to, we need to do the long on this. Okay. Okay. Let that dry for just a second. Do this guy. Okay. Let that one dry for a minute. We shall go ahead and do this side. All right. I would love it if you guys would leave me a comment below and let me know what you think about this so far. I would love to see what y'all think. All right. I wanted to check the chat and see if anybody had asked for anything, any questions. Hey, how's everybody doing? All right, let's see. We're going to add, we'll do it this way just because it's easier to do it going the opposite direction. All right, so we're going to make sure these marry at exactly this point, okay? Okay. So this is one where you want to just do the one side first. And make sure you line it up with your previous. Okay, just like that. And then let's make sure these two line up properly. And we'll squeeze it down in there. Okay. That way you can make sure everything lines up in the correct fashion. And then we're going to marry these two together. Okay. 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 Now you can put one here and on the front of here if you want to. Because say we're going to marry these two together. So we want to make sure the one side is lined up first. Okay. All right. We are almost done. We're going to look here in just a second and see what we got. Let's make sure these all line up. There we go. Okay. And here is our book. Let's see. This one's off ever so slightly. And here's where you want to just like easily, gently lift up. Just as easy as you can. Let's see. Have to add some more glue there. And sometimes you can end up just ever so slightly off, and you just have to go back and remanipulate your paper. Okay. And make sure everything is nice and smooth and even. Otherwise, it'll make that last page kind of wonky. Okay. I got it. She's still off. There you go. Maybe that got it. Maybe that got us where we needed to be. Still slightly off, but again, you know, the way to fix that is to go back and cover these little pieces with another, you know, that goes inside like that, so that it covers up all those little join spots. And you don't end up with, you know, white spots between your pages. Okay. That's how you fix that. And like I said, you can go back, and if you want to, you can add to the fronts of them. So I got a couple of things that I thought we might add. I got some little stars that I thought might be cute to add to it. And we can just, randomly, add them. I got some little flat backs that we can glue down. Okay. We'll go like that, maybe. There's a little poinsettia. Good Lord, I could hear the TV from upstairs all the way down here. Let's leave that one. And maybe that. Something like that. And then I've even got a couple of these guys. Little presents. I might put one there. And let's see. Let's move him. We'll put one right there. How about that? What do y'all think? Kind of cute, huh? Just something, to kind of decorate. It doesn't have to be perfect. Now, if you want to add ribbon, now is the time to do that. So you would want to go and glue your ribbon on before you add any of these things. Okay. So on this one, I'm not sure that I want to add any ribbon. I guess you can if you want to keep your accordion book closed. But I'm going to leave mine open so that I can just slide my little cards and stuff uh, in the little pockets. Okay. So I'm just going to go. Oh, yeah, I forgot these are little stickers. So I'll have to glue the other things. But these are little pop-up stickers. Okay. There's that one. All right. If you would, leave me a little comment below so that I can, so you can tell me what you think about my little project here. Even though it wasn't mine originally. I wanted to share it with you guys just because I thought it was, a cute and great little project to try. Let's see, we probably ought to just lay those down ever so gently and just let them dry. Flat back dealios. Okay. We are just about there. I'll put that one like that. Oops. And then we'll maybe do these two. Oops. Okay. Let's see. I think that's actually pretty good. I think I'll just leave that like so. Let that dry for a little bit. Okay. I kind of like it. And then, we can even add, like, say we could go and we could make a little card to add to this and just, tuck into a spot, Here, we'll do that. Let's see. Let's go around the edge of our card here a little bit. Some vintage photo. Okay. And then let's put, we're going to do Christmas cards 2025. Okay. Now you can, add some little, you know, okay. And then we'll just stick that right in there so that it can be seen. Let's see. How about, we'll put it right there. And there we go. But everybody will kind of know what's in there. Here, I can do it like so. There we go. That'll work. All right. If you would, please leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought of the project and if you think you might try it yourself. The only thing, you know what I forgot? We're going to do a pocket. Let's see, what's going to be the best thing to make a pocket out of? It's going to be kind of, it'll be interesting. Oh, this would be cute. Okay. We'll do this. Okay. Now, I want to make a pocket that is a triangle for each side here. Okay. But I want it to be about yay deep. Okay, let's see, where's my pencil? All right, so I want my thing to be that long. And here, I'll show you what we're going to do, how we're going to accomplish this. We're going to take this piece and we're going to fold it in half. Just the way we want it in there. Crease it. Okay, now we want to crease it again, but we want to fold it the opposite direction. Okay, and then we're going to make our cut. Okay, so we're going to fold it over, make sure everything's nice and neat when you cut it. And let's see, make sure this part is upright. Yes. Okay. And then we're going to cut it just like this. Okay. All right. Now, all we got to do is go in right here and glue this baby down. And we've already made our crease And that's going to cover up our mistake on each of these. See that? Okay. So I'm going to go in and just do the edge here. Just to give it some, take away the stark of the white. We'll go along the bottom. Now, you can, you can do any kind of stuff you want to yours. You can add, you know, inking to all your pages if you want to. See that? Okay. So we're only going to take a bead right across this edge. Okay. And we're going to make sure when we lay it down right on the edge here. And fold it out and over. Okay. So that everything lines up. You line up both your edges and your pages. Okay. Now we do need to, oops, that's what I forgot to do here. We do need to run a little bead right down through this edge so that it separates our pockets. Okay. There we go. Otherwise, you'll be able to pull this open. So we want to cover that edge too. And so now we'll have a pocket here and we'll have a pocket here. Oops. I might have to add just a hair more glue right here. Since I lifted it back up. Kind of had a chance to dry for a minute. Okay. And then you can go through this and you can decorate this however you like. You can, add more, let's see. What else we got? We can add, say we wanted to add this one to here or to here. We can make us a little pocket that goes right along the edge right here. See, that's cute. Now let's see. We want to take about, let's go with like, maybe right there. Okay. And then, of course, we take our pencil and we see where we want our pocket to be, and we want to give it just a hair of space. So we take it about right there. Cut it. Okay. Now, you can do, several things from this point. Here, let me get my paper edge. Here, let's see. And we can cut the corner off of this guy and round it. We can put him right here. Okay, so again, you can, add some antique-y feel to it if you want to make it kind of stand out a little bit. That's going to be, totally up to you, whatever you want to do with your, your aesthetic. Because you can, you can do anything. You can make it shabby chic. You can add, bits of lace and, do it in any color you imagine. Let's see. We want to go this way and this way. This one's going to be just a light little pocket. Okay. A little side pocket. We'll put it right here on this edge. Okay. And then once it dries and everything, we'll go back and we'll add some little things to it. Okay. Let's see. You can come back and you can decorate these pages any way you like. And then we can come back and we can add little tucks.